2024 Society of Nuclear Medicine and Molecular Imaging annual meeting in Toronto brings together leading experts, researchers, and technologists from around the globe, all united by a common goal: to advance our understanding of nuclear medicine and improve patient outcomes. Over the next few days, attendees will explore groundbreaking research, cutting-edge technologies, and share invaluable insights that will shape the next generation of diagnostic and therapeutic practices. Join us every day as we take a closer look at some of the highlights of the meeting. You're watching SNMMI TV. You can catch us around the Convention Center in Toronto, select hotels, on the SNMMI website, social media, and YouTube. With new content available each day, make sure to keep watching. Welcome to the Metro Toronto Convention Center and episode 1 of SNMMI TV. I'm your host, Dina Bear, and we have an exciting program for you today. The SNMMI incoming president gives us an overview of her vision for the next year. And we join attendees for the grand opening of the exhibit hall floor. Plenary speaker, Dr. Ora Israel, talks us through the highlights of her lecture, and we take a look at organizations at the forefront of nuclear medicine. The incoming SNMMI-TS President explains her education initiative for high school and college students. Patient advocate and blogger Miranda Edwards talks us through her battle with a rare cancer diagnosis. And we hear from you, the attendees, about what inspires you to go to work every day. As you can see, we have an exciting program coming up, so stay tuned for our first interview. You're watching SNMMI TV. Great pleasure now of being joined by SNMMI's incoming president, Kathy Sue Cutler. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
So a very big role. Tell me about what you think some of the biggest challenges are.
One of the biggest challenges we have is getting reimbursement for diagnostic radiopharmaceuticals. And that really limits patients' access, because if hospitals can't get reimbursed, they're obviously not going to provide them. No one wants to do it at a loss. So one of the things we've been working on is something called the FIND Act, which is a bill that will ensure that that hospitals will get reimbursed appropriately for these diagnostic radiopharmaceuticals. And these are really important because they basically are tools that the physician uses to really understand that patient and what their treatment is. So it's really important that all patients have access to these important tools.
How can members help, and do you have a plan to try to overcome some of those challenges? You mentioned the act, but how do people get involved?
So right now, I'm glad you asked that. There's a QR code here, and we actually have a template later which members can use and write their congressman and tell them why they should support the FIND Act and why they think this is so important for them to do this. And we really need all of our members to do that because these are coming up in Congress, and right now is just the best time to let them know that we are so desperately in need of this bill getting passed.
And it's a perfect time to let members know when everyone is together here. But beyond the meeting, what else is on your agenda for the year?
We're at this point where we're really growing. You know, everyone's interested in radiopharmaceuticals. Big Pharma is interested in radiopharmaceuticals. All these startup companies are interested. But we have a challenge with the workforce. So we have challenges with having enough technologists. We're expecting that we could see a shortfall of 2,000 to 4,000. And technologists, physicians. We need more people entering the field. And I'm a scientist, and we really need scientists desperately. Radiopharmacists, people to do the dosimetry. So a big thing we're working towards is trying to attract really good people to come into this field and support this growth and ensure quality care for our patients.
And for that, you need recruiters.
We need recruiters, yes.
And in what way can they be of best help to you?
So One, like yesterday, we went out to Jarvis High School, which is one of the biggest high schools in Toronto, and informed them about the field. And this is something they usually don't hear about. They don't know about this field until way late. And they were so engaged. So this is what we need to do. We have the job series coming out. We released the first one that brings people together and tells them about the field, which you can get on the internet and see those podcasts. And they inform you what it's like to work in nuclear medicine so that we can try to use those to attract people into the field.
It is such an exciting field. I wish you the best of luck and great success in your term as president.
Thank you very much.
Coming up is the grand opening of the SNMMI exhibit hall. We're here to join attendees, taking a first look at the latest innovations introduced on the floor. Israel from the Rappaport School of Medicine Technion is here now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So your plenary session is entitled A Different Kind of Hybrid. Enticing title.
Hybrid imaging has been most of the work that I've done for the last 2.5 decades. So when you do this, you understand that there's more to hybrid and more to imaging than we knew in the beginning. And that it is about time that after having made so many technological discoveries and developments, we also care a little bit about those who have made them and those who hopefully will make the future discoveries and developments in the future. This plenary session and my talk are called the Henry Wagner Lecture. This lecture is meant to honor the legacy of one of the giants of nuclear medicine, Dr. Henry Wagner.
And talking about the future and advancements, there have been so many in this field. What would you say are some of the biggest developments that you've seen in your career?
There have been the technological developments, the imaging devices, starting from the angle camera and coming now to the digital PET and SPEC devices, the CZT full ring devices, and the total body PET. There have been the developments related to combining imaging, hybrid imaging, PET or SPEC with CT or with MR. And there have been very important developments in the radiopharmacy, in having new tracers that we can all use, and most importantly, then we can use not only for diagnosis, as we have made for many decades, but to finally be treating people. Whether we are doing our clinical work or whether we are doing research, and that is maybe giving you a glimpse into what I'm going to talk about, but there will not be more. Both when we are treating patients and when we are doing research, patient care is the main purpose of our work.
So you hinted at more changes. As you look ahead, how do you think things might change?
It all depends on us. There will be a new generation of nuclear medicine physicians, 100% committed to moving our specialty forward. Oh boy, there will be so many surprises.
And so much great in the world.
Absolutely.
Dr. Ora Israel, thank you so much. I know people will have to visit your plenary session in order to hear all of the exciting things that we didn't get to talk about today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Discover Initio Medical Group, Western Canada's only private PET CT scan facility, offering rapid diagnostics and advanced treatment therapy for cancer. Let's take a closer look.
Initio Medical Group is a private theranostic facility in British Columbia currently and in the process of expanding across Canada. The bigger picture of right now, nuclear medicine is becoming more known, given the advancement in prostate cancer, where you're able to diagnose and treat precisely to the cancer cell while bypassing healthy tissue.
Right now, we've seen a few patients where the radioligand therapy has essentially been a silver bullet and has helped them to achieve long-term remission in almost like throwing a light switch, switch off, cancer off, disappeared.
Our goal at Initio is to work together with public institutions and public health authorities to help them expand their infrastructure to allow more capacity while maintaining a sustainable and affordable publicly funded service.
Let's head to Spokane, Washington now to learn more about Inland Imaging, an almost 100-year-old company that's focusing on personalized dosimetry, which will ultimately help save lives.
Inland Imaging in some form or another has been providing radiology services to this community for almost 100 years. I think its current iteration started with 6 radiologists who took mortgages on their house to start one of the first outpatient imaging standalone centers in the country in 1984. They installed the first MRI in the area, second on the West Coast. And that sort of spirit of innovation has permeated what we've done to today.
When I think of Inland Imaging, one of the first things that comes to mind is the number of patients we are serving. We're serving over 400,000 community members each and every year in our inpatient and outpatient settings.
At Inland Imaging, we definitely prioritize showing that we care and doing the right thing. We want to show patients that we care by them having exceptional interactions with every employee that they come across and interact with at Inland Imaging. We also want to show them that we care by doing the best we can for them in their diagnosis and their treatment. So we require not just a high level of interpersonal expertise from our staff, but a high level of technical expertise.
Julie Bolin, incoming SNMMI Technologist Section President, is joining me now. Congratulations on your new role.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
I know you want to hit the ground running, so tell me about some of your plans for the upcoming year.
I think last year we had such tremendous success in a lot of our initiatives in terms of advocacy and our therapy initiatives. But our workforce pipeline is really one of the areas that I would like to focus on this year. We created a lot of content that we're now ready to utilize, and I want to just figure out how we're going to employ all of these different strategies that we may have.
So what are some ways that you can attract young, intelligent, dedicated people to the field of nuclear medicine?
Well, I think the wonderful thing about the society is we actually have what would be considered like a national approach, but also more of a grassroots approach. And the national approach is really utilizing these Jobs of Tomorrow docuseries. And the beauty of these is that they'll be available on all of the major streaming platforms, Roku, Tubi, Amazon. And it's not only opportunities for potential students to be able to learn about the field, but it's also opportunities for their parents and their families to see what kinds of careers that these individuals can have. The individuals that are represented in all of these Jobs of Tomorrow docuseries include physicians, scientists, technologists. So it's about educating the public, but also educating students on opportunities that are in nuclear medicine. Now, furthermore, that grassroots approach, that's really where I want to focus my efforts. And we've developed a lot of content that's available for ambassadors to go out into their communities, but I would like to design a way that we can have like a big, huge push for this workforce pipeline development, because it's important for us to get out in the community and make ourselves known.
You touched on this a little, but I want to delve into it further, and that is the continuing education. There is so much advancement in this field. How do you make sure that people who are already in the field are up to date?
You know, I think we have a lot of great strategies for that. And of course, we have traditional mechanisms of continuing education at local meetings, national meetings, regional meetings, and of course, opportunities to review information in our published journals. But what we're really trying to do is get bite-sized content and really demonstrate to technologists, these are the ways in which these therapies are already being done in the community, and here's how we can help train you on how to do that, but in a bite-sized portion, kind of a plug-and-play method.
Have you heard feedback from some of the members that is helping you to kind of develop some of these programs?
You know, honestly, we have a tremendous pool of talented individuals from across the country. These are individuals that are actually working out in the field, and they're working out in the field in terms of educators, clinical technologists, industry representatives. So one of the beauties of nuclear medicine and Society of Nuclear Medicine is we bring all of these individuals to the table, and we collaborate and have real, true, authentic conversations about how we can push that needle just a little bit more. And we're all out in the community, every one of us trying to advocate for our profession and for our patients on a day-to-day basis.
Well, good luck, because your success is the success of SNMMI and really the success for patients as well.
Absolutely. That's what we're all here for. We want to always be pushing the needle a little bit further and seeing just how much more we can do for our community of technologists, educators, professionals, but most importantly for our patients.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
We're SNMMI TV, your daily news show featuring interviews and discussions on hot topics in nuclear medicine from this year's conference. You can catch us around the Convention Center in Toronto, select hotel rooms, on the SNMMI website, social media, and YouTube. With new content available each day, make sure to keep watching. Miranda Edwards, survivor, cancer thriver, and patient advocate, is here with me now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all that you're doing, because you have had quite a journey.
Quite a journey.
Tell me about it.
Well, it started when I was just 19 years old. I suffered a heart attack, which was an incredibly unusual presentation for somebody of my age. And the emergency ran the appropriate tests. They figured out that I had heart damage, and it started this whole diagnostic journey. The red flags were raised for a rare tumor called pheochromocytoma. It's a mouthful. And within 2 months, I was diagnosed officially. So 1 in a million tumor. They said, you're gonna need surgery right away. We need to get this out of you. You're at constant risk for heart attack and stroke, and even death. And unfortunately, I had a heart attack, I had 2 strokes, and I died. During the surgery, there was a complication, and the main artery to my heart was nicked. So I bled out. I flatlined for 3 minutes. And the surgery, which is very precarious in the first place, turned into, we need to save her life. Upon removal of this large tumor, the tumor capsule ruptured, and the cells spilled into my abdomen. They washed out the abdomen area, and everybody thought it was going to be okay. And they said, it won't come back. It's one and done. And unfortunately, I had recurrent symptoms almost right away. But for 4 years after that initial surgery, I was told that I was just anxious and it wasn't possible that it could come back. So I was 23 when I was just going for my follow-up. And I was, at that point, finally diagnosed with a metastatic recurrence. In the same breath, they gave me 1 to 5 years.
So that's when you took a different turn and used your education. Mm-hmm. And is that how nuclear medicine was so important in your life?
I just received this, 1 in 5 million diagnosis now. And I just knew that I needed somebody who was well-versed in this disease. So I looked for my doctor. I personally asked this doctor to help me. He took me on as his patient. And right away, he explained the importance of collecting data through nuclear medicine before we act on surgery, before we do anything. He was like, no, we're gonna get you in every imaging, every type of unique scan available to you. And we're still using that data we collected 10 years ago today. And it's impacted every decision that we've made.
Yours is such a unique case, and I know you blog about it now. What is your goal?
When I started Feo versus Fabulous, my initial goal was awareness. I figured if somebody else could read what I was experiencing, they might not question themselves when they're being told that this wasn't possible, and they may be able to prevent a later stage diagnosis, and their options will be very different than mine.
You have done so much for yourself, and now other cancer patients are going to benefit from you.
I hope so. It's always at the forefront of my mind. I truly hope that other patients can realize how much nuclear medicine and these advancements can improve our quality of life. And I think that that's something that we all deserve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's time you, the attendees, get a say as well. We wanted to know what inspires you to go to work every day.
Because see, I am a nuclear medicine physician. I am a doctor working in nuclear medicine. And in nuclear medicine, there are new and new radio tracers. That's the radioactive isotopes. They are coming day by day. It's very exciting, and the future is very bright. That's what keeps me going.
Knowing that I'm helping out our pharmacies across the network to stay up to date and compliant with quality and regulatory standards in nuclear pharmacy.
We're working on the next generation of radiopharmaceuticals in order to treat cancer using alpha therapies. And so this is the next big thing, and the hope is that it will have a meaningful impact across cancer.
So the zeal of doing new things and which can help the healthcare facility, the patients, treating new patients, having new therapies day by day. This all keeps me going.
My father's vision from his research in 1937 that he was working on thyroid cancer, and he believed that it would hold the key to the problem of cancer in general, keeps me going.
We're at a point now where we all have to come together as a community, as scientists, from industry, from the academics, and push ourselves, essentially. And that's what I do. I'm here to push myself, push my colleagues, push all of us towards this place where we can get to.
That's it for our first episode of SNMMI TV 2024. But we're back tomorrow, where we'll be learning more about some of the highlights of the meeting in nuclear medicine and neurology. You can catch us around the Convention Center in Toronto, select hotels, on the SNMMI website, social media, and YouTube. With new content available each day, make sure to keep watching. We'll see you tomorrow.